coast of the state. Still, we have had periods of heavy rain, and the forecast is for continued scattered thunderstorms and winds of 15 to 20 miles an hour, which could affect this ball game. Dave Wannstedt looking up at the sky. His 7th season as a head coach, the first 6 with the Chicago Bears, brought in as the assistant head coach to Jimmy Johnson a year ago and took the job this season. Joe, as a quarterback, you played in a lot of games like this. What does it make you do? What does it allow you to do?
Well, the one thing it does, it makes you really stay with the center when you take a snap. You really have to focus. Don't pull out early. The other thing is, and you may think I'm nuts saying this, I used to love to play in weather like this because I felt like my receivers had an advantage. They knew where they wanted to go. The defense didn't.
Corey Harris back on kickoff return team, averaging 21.9 yards a return this year. Harris from the 11. Dragged down at the 26. The Ravens quarterback is Tony Banks, who leads the NFL with 6 touchdown passes and is coming off a career-high 5 last week in a big win over Jacksonville. The backs are Holmes and Ian Badejo. The receivers, Johnson and Taylor. The tight end, 7-time Pro Bowl selection, Shannon Sharp, a key free agent. The line anchored by massive tackle Jonathan Ogden, a 3-time Pro Bowl pick in his first 4 years. Mulatalo, Mitchell, Flynn, and Swain. And the rain has started again. And now Jamal Lewis checks in. An unexpected start for the rookie out of Tennessee. Banks to throw on first down. Screen to Lewis. Across the 30, 35. Still on his feet to the 40 and out of bounds for a first down. Here's the Dolphin defense. Owens, Bowens, Kenny Mixon, who moves from left end to right tackle for the injured Darrell Gardner, and Taylor. The linebackers, Rogers, Zach Thomas, who always leads the team in tackles and made his first Pro Bowl last year, and Jones. In the secondary, Surtain, Sam Madison, a Pro Bowl starter who tied for the league lead in picks last season. Walker and Marion are the safeties. Zach Thomas considered too small, too short. Now he's just considered too good by the offenses he faces. Priest Holmes back in, out of the eye. And Holmes for maybe a yard. Tony Banks had the game of his young career a week ago. Those 5 touchdown passes all came in the second half as they just erupted on that Jaguar defense.
Well, they had 8 possessions in the second half, and 5 of them went for touchdowns.
Brian Billick, largely regarded around the league as one of the great offensive minds to come along in a long, long time. Banks, short set, throws sidearm, incomplete. Johnson was the intended receiver. Madison was on him, and maybe Madison was on him too quick because flags are down.
Well, that's after the whole offensive line said there was a pass interference call.
Pass interference. 29, defense. Automatic first down.
The thing you have to be concerned with is footing, and Sam Madison's going to get up on Patrick Johnson and really just give him a mild mugging. You see him up top of your screen. He hangs on, he hangs on, he hangs on. Sooner or later, you have to let him go. You can't hold him within that 5-yard area.
Madison, the first Dolphin cornerback to ever go to the Pro Bowl, and the first defensive back since Tim Foley in 1979. Now Banks wants to change the play.
He may try and go up top right here. They get the one-on-one coverage, let it fly.
Pressure coming, throws underneath and dropped. That was right in the hands of the rookie Travis Taylor, who had 8 catches on the season, the number 10 pick in the draft, and that ball was right there.
Well, I'll tell you, Sam Madison really played this perfectly. Now you watch him. He's on Travis Taylor, number 29, on number 89. And look at Madison playing this play. He goes back, looks to the outside. He almost gets the ball as it comes off Taylor's hands.
Sharp and Coates are in a double tight end set. 2 wide receivers, 1 back. Banks in the flat. Coates across midfield. There's another marker down. It's in the Dolphins secondary.
This one may go against Patrick Surtain.
These are very aggressive corners for Miami. Illegal contact.
Illegal to the hands. Hands to the face. Defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Patrick Surtain in this defense, we know how tough they are and how quick they are. They're trying to make a statement. Now look at this on Travis Taylor. Watch Patrick Surtain. He's right up on him, but he grabs him by the face mask.
A little bit more than illegal hands to the face.
Yeah, that, you know, when you turn the guy's head, that's when you see the 15-yarder come.
Could have been that easily. Priest holds on a little swing and can't hold it, and the weather has already had an impact in this game.
It has an impact. What happens is you saw Travis Taylor miss one that just went off his fingertips. Here, Priest Holmes lets one get away from him. It's really not the quarterback that's going to have the problems. It's going to be the running backs trying to judge the speed of the way Tony throws the ball. Brian Billick, I think, will continue to be aggressive as long as the field conditions don't deteriorate too bad.
And this is prescription turf. It'll take an inch of rain an hour and still drain very well. Jamal Lewis. Zach Thomas, the first man there, cut down short of the line of scrimmage.
You know, Zach Thomas, you know, you talked about at the beginning, small, too small. And at first of all, they thought he wasn't fast enough to play the position of middle linebacker. Well, folks, yes, he is. This guy knows exactly where the ball goes. He's there first in the morning, last to leave. He studies more than anybody does. But you're going to see him come back up right in the play. That's Zach Thomas, number 54, making the hit on Jamal Lewis. He's just a tremendous middle linebacker.
Robert Jones did a nice job of turning that play in, too.
I think this is a part of the field where you really have to be conscious of where Shannon Sharp is.
He's number 82. Dolphins show blitz. Come with 4 men. Banks goes down under Jason Taylor.
There's a case where we could see this all night between a quarterback and a center. Part of the problem, he goes back, he just winds up just hitting Ian Bendejo's right shoulder. Watch this. Hits his shoulder, the ball just comes a little bit loose. It doesn't take much to get the ball out of your hands when it's this slick.
That's one fumble for Tony Banks, and that's almost perfect because he has averaged a fumble a game in his career.
But you can't count that one.
He got it.
Yes, you can.
I know it counts. Put an asterisk next to it.
Kyle Richardson to punt. Shepard and Ogden are back. Leslie Shepard, the former Redskin, from the 16. Hemmed in at the sideline, taken out at the 30. 45-yard punt and a 14-yard return in the rain in Miami. We're scoreless. Go through the whole retirement ceremony, and there's Dan waving.
Dan might consider just staying there if it stays this way.
From the 29, Lamar Smith gets the first carry, picks up about 3. Miami offense, Jay Fiedler has the unenviable task of following Marino at quarterback. The results after only 2 starts mixed for the 5-year pro. The 7-year veteran Lamar Smith won the running back job in camp. He starts with Conrad, Emmanuel, Gadsden, and Goodwin, the tight end. Up front, Richmond Webb still excels as a pass blocker, a 7-time Pro Bowler. Dixon, Ruddy, Donnelly, and Wade round out the line. The Dolphins come in missing their top 3 wide receivers. That complicates the problems for Jay Fiedler. Smith. Nice hole to run through, and Smith drags tacklers out to the 45, first down. Exactly what they want to do. The Ravens defense has Burnett, Sam Adams, the Seattle free agent who has made running even tougher, Siragusa and McCrary. Great talented linebacker. Fullware, consensus All-Pro Ray Lewis, who plays from sideline to sideline, and Sharper. The secondary has Starks and McAllister at the corners. At safety, Herring and Rod Woodson, who made his 8th Pro Bowl last year, his first at safety. Flags are down. Smith on the sweep. Running hard near midfield. Will check the penalty.
Siragusa, number 98, is the guy that was offside, and he's pointing to the offensive line.
Offside. Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
If you're Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, and Brian Billick, the head coach and coordinator of the Ravens, you know, what really enters into your thought process is field position. I mean, you want to be able to play that game and try and pin people back and hope for the mistake. Right now, Brian wants to see his defense come up with the play, and if Chan's given the opportunity to run the football, he will run it and run it and run it until the Ravens prove they can stop it.
Spot the ball at midfield. First quarter scoreless ball game in Miami. And now Jay Fiedler didn't like the defense he saw and wants a timeout. 9:33 to go, first quarter. Ravens nothing, Dolphins nothing.
Loco's Deli and Pub. Lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Loco serves up thick baked sandwiches, big crisp salads, moist beef and chicken.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You gotta love this, baby. It's nice and muddy today. It's raining, man. Let's go, Flynn. You know what? They're gonna try and run the ball right down our throat. Why don't we do the best, baby?
You know what? Spend some time around Siragusa. It just breaks you up.
Well, you just heard all these people go, ooh, and there's a whole bunch of lightning that just hit right on the other side of the stadium. Is he funny? But he also
hilarious.
can play. But he can play.
Yes, he can. And he talks to everybody. The officials, tells them how ugly they are. Tells the guys he plays against how ugly they are. Tony's up to about 340 now.
That's because he doesn't have a mirror in his head.
Right.
I'm glad you said that. Bert Emanuel, number 87 in the wide receiver. Lamar Smith tries to cut outside and gets to the Raven 48-yard line where he's cut down.
You know, you'd like to be, you think, okay, the Dolphins look like they've established a mentality that they want to run the football. And I think this is good for their offensive line, especially given the reputation of the Ravens. Good spot right here possibly for Dave. Maybe a little play action pass. You've got your tight ends in. You've brought everybody in close. Give you a lot of field to work with.
Miami's offense this year has converted an NFL worst 23% on third down. They're only 3 for 21 on 3rd and 3 or more. Right now it's 3rd and 3. Draw play. They got the first down. Thurman Thomas, the former Dolphin killer with the Buffalo Bills. Now he's trying to help the Phins.
Boy, I'll tell you, is this a nice play? And when Thurman Thomas is in the backfield, you know that they're going to try to get the ball to him one way or the other. And this offensive line blocked great. They're going to the left. That's Richmond Website and Mark Dixon. Look at those guys block down, screen out. Rob Conrad gets an excellent block. And here comes Ray Lewis. That's Conrad, number 44 on Ray Lewis. Little holding, but a great block.
Thurman Thomas, number 9 all-time in NFL rushing, adding to his total. First down, and that one, a couple of guys moved. Most of them didn't.
A couple guys thought it was on 2. Jay thought it was on 3. Right. The center didn't care.
Prior to the snap, false start, 78 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
You talked about the running game. In their opener, they rushed for 181 yards as a team. Last week, they rushed for only 49. Obviously, this is still a work in progress.
Well, part of that had to do with the fact the Minnesota Vikings, who they played last week, decided they wanted to put 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. I don't care how committed you are, you're not going to run the ball very far when there's that many guys up there.
Or 8 or 9, and they really came after him. First and 15 for Fiedler. Gadsden, the motion man. Sam Adams came across, and that'll get him the 5 right back.
You know, you're talking about the Miami Dolphins running the football. After we get this call, I'll tell you what I was thinking about.
All right.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90. 5 yards. Still first down.
The Dolphins, of course, every year that we come down here, ever since Don Shula even, they have talked about running the football. They never seem to get around to it. They have ranked higher in passing yards than rushing. 16 straight years, the longest streak in NFL history. Any surprise that Dan Marino was here for that stretch. Lamar Smith back to 1st and 10, has a hole. Woodson up from the secondary, chases him out of bounds. Lamar Smith, the former Seahawk and Saint, won the job in camp over J.J. Johnson, who was the starter most of last year and their leading rusher.
I really liked what he did here. He pressed up into the hole. Watch, he comes into the line of scrimmage. Now he makes one move, one cut, lifts his knees up and heads to the outside. And he's a pretty darn strong runner, 230 pounds, a tough load to bring down. When you talk to the Ravens, they were amazed watching him on film how many tackles he breaks.
He comes into the game starting the weekend 7th in the NFL in rushing. Coleman Thomas is now in. Fiedler bobbled by Shepard, but he caught it at the 24.
When you run the football, it gives you an opportunity to play action, and what that creates is good lanes, and it also creates less pressure. You see the problem they're having with the ball. Number 84 comes down, hooks inside. Look at the footing. You really have to be careful if you're the defensive back.
Pretty good concentration by Shepard. Ray Lewis may have gotten a piece of that one. Smith back in, straight ahead, nothing there. Burnett in on the tackle. Sunday Night Football next week at 8:30 Eastern, an NFC East Classic. Bruce Smith, Deion Sanders, and the new-look Washington Redskins head to New York to battle Tiki Barber and the Giants. Coverage begins at 7:30 with prime time. The Giants now a sparkling 3-0. The Redskins, of course, play tomorrow night on Monday Night Football at home against the Dallas Cowboys. We should have a beauty next week. Fiedler from the shotgun. Blitz coming. Shepard dropped it. Well-designed play against the blitz. Leslie Shepard easily would have had the first down, and who knows how much more.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Fiedler read Robert Bailey, number 35, slides inside, and all Shepard has to do is catch the ball because there's nobody around him. Dave Wannstedt is upset. Look at, they picked up the blitz. Look at Shepard. He's got a blocker out in front of him. That's Mark Dixon. And Wannstedt just goes crazy. Catch the football.
He knows his team is not going to get too many opportunities, and they blew a big one there. Olindo Mare on for 42 yards. Had a brilliant season a year ago. Mare off the infield dirt, and he got it. Nice kick by Olindo Mare, and the Dolphins take a 3-0 lead at home.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Field goal.
Chan Gailey was talking about consistency. This is the only part of the Dolphins that they really haven't been nicked up. These guys have started all 3 games together.
Mate to kick to Corey Harris and Priest Holmes. Harris, the deep man on the run at the 12. Had a seam and just tripped up as he got to the 37-yard line. Saving tackle by Larry Izzo. 3-0 Miami. Back in a moment.
Sitting Buick Pontiac GMC trucks, right where you belong. The selection is tremendous and the savings are unbelievable at Sitting Pontiac.
Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall in there listening to them talk about what's going on?
Well, Gracie's going to be the master of ceremonies tonight, so that's kind of neat.
The Ravens take over from their own 36. Priest Holmes hit in the backfield. Kenny Mixon, number 79, who's playing at the tackle spot tonight for the injured Darrell Gardner, who was out with a herniated disc in his lower back. He may miss 6 weeks, and they'll need Mixon to play that way inside.
Well, they were kind of worried about Kenny Mixon because he doesn't have the weight. But look at this play. He just gets off a block. He doesn't make the tackle. He gets help from Derek Rogers, but he's the guy that's slowed down Priest Holmes.
Mixon, a guy who plays with great leverage and tremendous strength. 2nd and 10. Banks with good protection. Now it breaks down. Lost the ball again. And recovered by Edwin Mulatalo.
Trace Armstrong really brings pressure. He not only put the pressure on him to get the sack, he also managed to get his hand there and swat the ball loose. This is really on Tony, too. He's got time to throw the football. Give credit to that Dolphins secondary. They make him hold the ball. Trace Armstrong doesn't quit, swings the ball around. Good job by the offensive line.
Grabbed him with a right hand, punched it out with the left. Banks has now played 59 games and has 60 fumbles. But Armstrong forced him to cough that one up. Banks throws underneath. Ian Badejo makes the catch. But Zach Thomas, who is as good a middle linebacker on pass coverage as you will ever see, is there for the tackle.
Well, it is a question of whether it's Miami going to give you. They're going to give you the short 10-yard route because you've got to pick up 15. You're not going to get it.
Dave Wannstedt and Jim Bates, the defensive coordinator, I think feel like if Baltimore wants to throw the football, they'll give them the short one.
Kyle Richardson out of Arkansas State is on to punt. And that's Leslie Shepard backing up to his own 10. Richardson, one of the best in the business at getting the ball inside the 20. There's a marker down. And taken by the up man, Jeff Ogden. And Ogden with a nice return into Ravens territory. 32 yards after a 39-yard punt. Now check the marker.
That flag is going to be on Trent Gamble, number 52, for tripping. He's the right wing man on the punt block team. Just went out and tripped the rushing Dolphin.
Tripping. Kicking team, number 42. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Great special teams play. Sets it up for the Miami Dolphins.
How to speak Australian.
And if you're one of the Backstreet Boys, you can go just about wherever you want to. And get free nachos and chicken wings.
Eat all night long if you want to.
Smith on the toss, nowhere to go, tries to cut back. And the number 13 is out in force, and who wouldn't want to be here on a night like this to honor Dan Marino at halftime for 17 glorious years?
Richmond Webb, their all-pro tackle, is down.
7-time Pro Bowler who protected Marino's blind side for 10 seasons as a first-round draft choice in 1990 out of Texas A&M.
On the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to see it. Michael McCrary, number 99. He's going to he takes him down, and then Richmond Webb, he just gets buckled.
Oh.
See, he gets caught standing there, and they just roll into his leg. How many times do we see that when a guy is just standing around? He actually was kind of blocking, but you're in a position where you don't even see it coming.
ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by EAS Advant Edge Smart Nutrition for Active People. By Lee Dungarees, Buddy Lee tested, Buddy Lee approved. By 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save. And by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Webb is still down. Here's another angle on the injury.
Yeah, that's Sam Adams that comes in and winds up rolling. I can't see anything there, Freddie.
That An ugly picture of that right knee buckling, and certainly they cannot afford to lose Richmond Webb, the veteran on that offensive line.
You know, the
he's
thing is,
up.
Mike, how much do you keep your feet moving? That's, you know, as a lineman, you make your block, and then the back starts to cut back, and you really don't expect them in that territory, and you wind up getting rolled up by somebody who makes a tackle.
Yeah. Boy, you're absolutely right, because the back is stopping, and then bang, he comes back, and you're standing there.
Brent Smith will take over at left tackle, a 4-year man, originally a third-round draft choice in '97 out of Mississippi State. And Webb very slowly coming off the field. The Dolphins have done what they wanted to do here in the first quarter. They've run it for 35 yards. The Ravens have yet to make a yard on the ground.
And their defense has done a very good job. Dave Wanstead's defense has kept the Ravens pinned back so that field position continues to be an advantage for the Dolphins and allow them to run the football.
Somebody needs to get Dave a hat.
He wore one in warm-ups, and then he decided to take it off.
We'll get a report on Richmond Webb as soon as we can. Great player for a long time and a good guy. 2nd and 10 for Miami. Play action by Fiedler. Gadsden, nice move to get free. Hit from behind and taken down at the 37-yard line.
Boy, he put a move on a linebacker, Cornell Brown. Brown just stayed there. And the throw is high, so Gadsden goes up to the ball. And this ball, watch this. This ball is up in the air. It's over Syracuse to the lineman. Gadsden goes up and gets it. And then the move he makes on Brown, right here. See number 51 go inside? That's beautiful.
And look at McCrary, hustled downfield to get in on the tackle from the defensive end spot. Fiedler now 2 out of 3 and had one drop. Lamar Smith. Very patient runner. Waits for his blockers, waits for the holes to open up.
That's one of the things you see from an experienced back.
Well, you know,
he's not as quick.
Joe, you talk about Michael McCurry, about this guy hustling. Now watch this. The play is to the other side. Watch what he does. He avoids all blockers, gets down the line of scrimmage. That is a 3-yard gain just about, and McCurry's there to make the tackle from the other side of the line.
He always said, I was one of those guys who had to earn respect. I wasn't some high draft choice that had it handed to him, and he's done it. 2nd and 7 for the Dolphins, who lead 3-0. Smith tries to get to the outside, and Jamie Sharper was waiting for him. Nice crew of linebackers on this football team. These guys can really run on defense. It's been a slug-it-out first quarter in the rain and now the mud in Miami. And the Dolphins have a 3-0 lead over the Baltimore Ravens. We'll be back to South Florida in a moment.
Kevin Whitaker is not
blitzing defense. They blitzed you. They blitzed everybody. They tried to blitz Marino, and he shot him down almost 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns and stopped that streak. It was just an amazing night for Dan Marino.
Well, the thing I think about Marino is that as long as there was time on the clock, they had a chance to win. Now, he has had more fourth-quarter overtime winning drives than any other quarterback in history, 47 of them.
Yeah, but I loved his release. That ball got out of there so quick. I swear he could stand against a door and get it out. Never had to take it back very far, and it was gone.
Miami facing a 3rd and 10. They show blitz, and they come. Fiedler gets it out of there. Gadsden can't hang on. Pretty good coverage by Chris McAllister, and there's a marker down.
Baltimore, they were in the neutral zone.
Offside defense, number 35. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Now, there you saw a case of Jay Fiedler trying to get the release out, but nobody had one like Dan Marino. He used to get back and be able to set and fire it quicker than anyone. Part of it was the decision process, but just look at the movement of the arms. The only one I ever saw like him was Joe Namath. And I really think that Dan's might have been even a little bit quicker. Sorry, Joe.
It's one of the reasons he was almost never sacked. You could be right in his face, and he'd still get rid of it. We're talking about Marino all night, and that's an easy thing to do. to run for it with Thurman Thomas. And Thurman has the first down to the Ravens 23.
You know what's amazing about Thurman Thomas? And all the years that he was with the Buffalo Bills, when he came in on third down, you knew that he was going to be involved in the play in some fashion, whether he's going to receive the ball or run with the ball. Here he is standing in the backfield. They hand him the ball, but this all starts up front. Look at the blocking. The hole is there, and Thurman Thomas gets into it.
The Dolphins spent 12 years being eaten up by Thurman Thomas. They're delighted to have him on their side for a change. Rushed for over 1,600 yards against them. Smith is back in there and greeted by that Baltimore defense. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solomon, how are you?
Yeah, Mike, in preparing to play Dan Marino, from the moment you went into film study, it became clear that his lightning-quick release would force the secondary to play honest. I mean, you really couldn't get a read on him, and you couldn't take any chances, or he would make you pay. In fact, our coaches would tell our defensive linemen, hey, you know what? We may not get a sack on him, so just get a good push and get the hands up because the ball's going to be coming out so quick. He also would challenge anyone on the field, no matter who the guy in the secondary was. He had tremendous courage to go along with tremendous talent, Mike.
Lamar Smith for about 3. And Solomon, all that advice that coaches gave safeties like you and defensive line, none of it worked for 17 years.
Well, you know, Tom Flores, when he coached the Oakland Raiders, in fact, this is one of the teams that Don Shula never beat, the Tom Flores team when he was at Oakland. He told me before the game, he said, I would tell my team on defense, don't think about sacking Marino. All you need to do is what Solomon was talking about. Get a push, make him throw the ball before he wants to. That was also impossible to do.
Miami with a 3-0 lead, 12:54 and counting. First half, 3rd and 11. Fiedler, that one is knocked away at the last moment from Hunter Goodwin, the tight end. Coming up to hit him, Robert Bailey, the former Detroit Lion, got there just as the ball did.
But the one thing you will notice is Jay Fiedler has not tried to go down the field. They're able to run the football and keep it in manageable 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, third downs to try and pick up the first down.
And Fiedler has played a very smart game so far. He's been right on target for the most part. Mate, who hit one from 42, will try from 41. He slides a little bit right, but good. And Mate, in a conservative game plan, has given the Dolphins a 6-0 lead.
NFL Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday on ESPN2.
Howard, you're the expert on teamwork, right?
In his career, just look back to 1984. The numbers he put up, these look like misprints, but they're not. He had 4 400-yard games, over 5,000 yards, and he had 48, count them, 48 touchdown passes. That's one season.
Yeah, I got to watch that. The first game was against us at RFK in 1984.
Yeah, but he didn't get all 48 that night.
Seemed like it.
Squib kick taken by one of the up men at the 23-yard line as the Ravens will get back out near the 40. NFL Countdown every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Join Chris Berman and the gang for the NFL's best pregame show. Then at 7:30, it's prime time.
He could go off the foot, and he is wearing at the touchdown.
We said this would be a defensive battle. It has been so far. The Ravens, 8 yards total. The Dolphins, well, they're not exactly tearing it up, but 62 is a lot better than 8. Thanks. Under pressure, they got it. Right up the gut, Jermaine Haley, the first-year player out of Butte College.
Boy, Brian Billick is shaking his head. Jermaine Haley comes up, number 94. Watch this guy. He's right up the middle. They don't block him. Nobody touches him.
Tony Banks on that play audibled at the line of scrimmage, but they're using hand signals. The line went one way. Jim Bates' defense went after him another.
a loss of 8 on the sack. The Ravens now have 0 yards for the half. Banks wants the screen to Holmes. Holmes hitting the backfield. Gets away from 2 tacklers, 3 and 4, and gets out to the 31. They nearly had him for a loss of another 8. As it is, he lost 1, and there's a marker down.
I'll tell you, there's a guy out there sucking air. That's Tim Bowens. He was the guy that read the screen, got out there, didn't make the tackle.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 83. Penalty is declined. 4th down. Correction. 3rd down.
Patrick Johnson, the wide receiver, called for the interference.
You know, the one thing we've seen from the Miami Dolphins is running the football, trying to throw short passes. What we haven't seen out of the Ravens is trying to find Shannon Sharp on short passes working against the linebacker.
They are missing Kadre Ismail, one of their starting receivers tonight, so Johnson getting his first action of the season. 3-man rush. Flag is down. Banks incomplete. That pass was intended for Sharp and Sam Madison in the vicinity. The call will go against the Ravens, and Miami will turn it down. They'll have to punt.
Illegal formation. Offense for 7. Lined up behind the neutral zone. Penalties decline. 4th down.
An injury report for you. Richmond Webb with a sprained knee and a sprained ankle probably will not be back. And the crowd really into it now as that defense has been terrific. Kyle Richardson to kick to Leslie Shepard, who waits on the dirt part of the field at the 25. Nice kick by Richardson. Shepard. Fair catch, 41-yard kick, no return. We're in Miami where the Dolphins lead it 6-0.
It's here, waiting for you.
Become a starter in the National Football League, undrafted out of college. Went to Philadelphia for a couple of years, went to Cincinnati for a month, never got to play. Then coached for Hofstra. He was out for nearly 2 seasons. Smith stepping over tacklers for about 5 yards. The one guy who really believed in him was his high school coach, Frank Luisi. He convinced Fiedler to put tapes together, and he sent letters to every NFL team. He got a chance to play in Amsterdam, and NFL Europe did not play well at all. Was picked up by the Vikings after he sent out all those letters. Went to Jacksonville. That seems to be the key for a lot of guys. Played 1 game down there, and now he is in Miami with a chance to start.
And that's the key why he got the chance to start here is because Chan Gailey is familiar with that system, and he felt Jay would be.
Smith running hard for a couple. And how difficult, or really, how do you feel about the fact that he is the starting quarterback on Dan Marino night? He knows everybody is here to see the legend.
Well, the thing is, he has said, listen, I'm not here to try and replace Dan Marino. Nobody can do that. I just want to go out and try and win football games for this team. He made a really interesting comment. He said it's better to follow Dan Marino than to be a backup to Damon Ewert. So I think he sort of put everything in perspective of how he's addressed his new role as the quarterback of the Dolphins.
He's as calm as I've seen any quarterback.
No offense to Damon, who had 6 starts last year, was 5-1 as the starter.
Here it comes.
3rd and 5, good protection. He got it out in the flat, caught by Thomas. Thurman Thomas across the 45, 1st down. I think Chris McAllister thought he had a shot at that ball and just couldn't get there.
I'll tell you, that's Dwayne Starks, number 22, and he's covering Thurman Thomas. And I keep saying, on 3rd down, they're going to get the ball to Thurman Thomas one way or the other. Watch Fiedler. He looks out. Starks, number 22, he's trying to go to knock the ball down. Thurman Thomas makes the catch, has the presence of mind. Watch this, turn upfield, stay in bounds, and pick up another, 10, 12?
Miami has been very efficient just nibbling at that Baltimore defense. Out of the the eye. Nice play fake by Fiedler. Bombs away and overthrows everybody. We talked to Dave Wanstead on what the possible effects of Dan Marino night might be on his team.
I think this is going to be a real positive thing. You know, our fans are coming out. We're going to have a full house here tonight. Everybody's going to be excited about it. The thing that we have to do is go out and make a few plays early to get the crowd behind us, and or they'll be given the one more year for Dan chant. You know, that, we'd like to keep that, hold that off as long as we could here tonight.
And hats off to Dave Wanstead for the way he has handled the whole Marino issue. It was a sore point for the last couple of years down here in Miami when Jimmy Johnson was the head coach. But Dave Wanstead's done a remarkable public relations job with it and being sensitive to everybody's feelings.
Yeah, he is. I think, well, you know, this guy has done a great job. But I want to just talk for a second about Miami running the football. You know, the barometer in the National Football League is like if you rush for 4 yards a carry, that's about average for everyone. For 12 years, the Miami Dolphins have been under 4 yards a carry. And tonight, they're like about 3.4, 3.3 yards a carry. So they're still not running the ball as effectively as they want to.
But in weather conditions like this, it's been good enough the way their defense has played. Fiedler on a little roll, tried to get it to his tight end, Hunter Goodwin, and right there was Kim Herring, the safety, but they throw a flag right at it. Did Herring get there too early?
I don't believe he did. I really don't. Hunter Goodwin goes up and reaches for the ball. I believe contact is almost simultaneous.
Now the officials are going to talk about it.
That one looked like it was simultaneous contact. That was not interference before, I didn't think.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference as the contact occurred behind the line of scrimmage. Incomplete pass.
Little play
down.
action fake. He gets the ball out. You see, as a matter of fact, the ball hits Hunter Goodwin's hands before Herring ever gets there. There it is. You see the tackle, but they said there was no flag because that was baloney. It had nothing to do where it was.
But what a nice job of the officials working together where one sees one thing, a couple others come in and say, hey, no, we saw it a different way.
For whatever reason you think it wasn't correct, I'm glad it was called.
And they got it right. That's right. Turk to punt to Jermaine Lewis. Very dangerous kick return. Turk, beauty. But too far. 47 yards into the end zone, a net of only 27. And the Ravens will set up shop at their own 20 when we come back. The Ravens start from their own 20. Priest Holmes for about 2. Swarmed under.
Brian Billick really summed this game up last night. We had a chance to talk to him. He said, if Shannon Sharp and the tight ends don't have a good game, we're not going to do well. So far tonight, they've only thrown one ball to him. It was on 3rd and 18. I think he's got to become a bigger part of this offense for the Ravens to be able to get those linebackers away from the line of scrimmage a little bit. And then you can stick in Ben Coates on the other side if you need to.
Dave Wanstead agreed. He said it will be Shannon Sharp against our nickel defense. This one's caught out in the flat iron, but Dejo makes the grab. He'll have a first down across the 30.
There's a guy who was their leading receiver last week against Jacksonville. Came into the game with 9 receptions, 1 touchdown. Really a versatile fullback.
Obafemi, I am Dejo.
Hey. That's the last time you'll ever have to say.
And he beat out Sam Gash, the Pro Bowl fullback, because he is just so much more athletic and he is so multi-dimensional as a fullback. Thanks. Sharp near the 40. First catch of the night for the 7-time Pro Bowler. Monday Night Countdown tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico and the gang review Sunday's top stories and preview the Monday night matchup. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football with one of the NFL's great rivalries. The Dallas Cowboys battle the Washington Redskins. The fans cheering their defense on 2nd and 3. Banks against the 4-man rush. Had it batted down in his face. Lorenzo Bromell got the hands up and knocked it away.
It's the best defense you could ever have, Michael. is when a defensive lineman drops the ball down at the line of scrimmage.
Isn't that the thing we talked about? Coaches tried to do against Dan Marino. If you don't think you can get there, push the line back as far as you can, and jump up and knock it down.
3rd and 3. Banks, good protection. Bobbled and dropped by Shannon Sharp. The pass was high and behind him.
It was high and behind him, and it didn't look like Shannon Sharp was even looking back at the ball. It was like at the last second, Shannon Sharp looks back. This ball is thrown hard, behind, and 2. Shannon Sharp's right. Watch this. Just turns, and the ball is already there. He really didn't have a chance to catch it.
No, Tony rushed that one a little bit. Sometimes you get engaged with the defensive backs a little too long, too, and you can't get away clean.
Even on a dry night, that would have been a tough catch. Shepard and Ogden back to take the punt from Kyle Richardson. Shepard at the 22. Straight up the sideline and out of bounds. Punt of 39, a return of 18 for Leslie Shepard. 6:01 to go in the half. 6-0 Dolphins.
You probably know these people. These are the faces of Greer State Bank. And they're the faces of Greer, our hometown. Being a local bank, we're...
Stephen Davis and the revamped Skins brace for the thunder and lightning attack of the G-Men. It's the Redskins versus the Giants at 8:30 on ESPN Sunday Night Football. It's football after dark.
If you're with us on Enhanced TV, we have a question for you. If you had to choose one quarterback for your team, who would it be? John Unitas, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, John Elway. Good luck.
This is the hardest question I've ever seen.
I think it's easy.
Come on, yeah.
No,
what?
Take all 4 of them. Let each play a quarter.
Here's the vote so far. Montana with 50%, Marino 24, Elway with 19. John Unitas not exactly in the cyber generation.
Well,
got 7%, but he is the NFL's all-time quarterback.
False start. 83 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Hunter Goodwin, the tight end, called for the penalty. There's so many different ways to measure the worth of a quarterback. Some people say championship. Some people say numbers. Some people say leadership. Some people say it's a combination of all those things.
But Don Shula said of all the quarterbacks, and you can compare Marino to all of them, Marino's the best one he's ever seen.
Smith, Goodwin in front. And Smith pushed out of bounds at the 33. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots. He's with a coach who had 2 of those 4 greats.
Yeah, Mike, Hall of Fame coach Don Shula won more games with Dan Marino than any other coach-quarterback combination. And, Coach, I understand going into the 83 draft, you guys hadn't planned on taking a quarterback, but were you shocked that Dan Marino was still on the board when you guys made the selection in the first round?
The 27th pick, are you kidding? We had him rated right up there with Elway as the 2 top guys, but our thought was that he would be gone and we're going to take a defensive lineman. So we had to switch gears when it looked like he might be there. And, of course, we got Dan, and we ended up getting a defensive lineman. That was a real bonus pick.
Now, yeah, Johnny Unitas, Bob Greasy, and Dan Marino. Does it get any better for a head coach?
Can't get any better than that. And, of course, Earl Morrill. I got to mention Earl. What a backup quarterback that he was. But, Hall of Famers, 2 of them. Dan's going to be a certain Hall of Famer. And then one of the best backup quarterbacks that ever played the game.
Now, in Super Bowl 8, you beat the Minnesota Vikings. Bob Greasy only attempted 8 passes in that game. How difficult was it for you to change philosophies and going from a heavy run offense to a predominantly passing game with Dan Marino?
Well, coaching is taking the ability that you have and giving them a chance to do what they do best. And, with Zonka and Greasy and, the people that we had, we ran the ball. We controlled the clock. We had the ball about 40 minutes to their 20 minutes in the ball game. With Marino, you want to take advantage of his great ability.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us in the rain. Back up to you, Mike.
All right, Solomon, thank you very much. And that ball went into the hands of James Trapp and then bounced to Rob Burnett, who gets the interception and the first big break of the ball game.
When you talk about the ball bouncing the right way, watch this. Through the hands of Thurman Thomas, in the hands of Trapp. Thomas hits Trapp. Trapp bobbles the ball. Burnett picks it up. It's first down. Baltimore. Look at the umpire cam. This is a great shot here. Thurman misses. Trapp gets it. Thurman does a great thing. He goes back and tries to tackle Trapp, who fumbles the ball into the hands of Rob Burnett.
And Burnett, great hands by a defensive lineman.
And great hustle to be in position to be able to make that play.
He's had 2 great weeks. He was the defensive player the first week. Rob Burnett, he has just been playing superb football.
Big break for the Ravens. Can they capitalize? They'll start from the 27. Their first play in Miami territory tonight. Banks slipping on the infield. Rips one in. Madison knocks it away from Shannon Sharp.
Sam Madison.
Since the start of the 97 season, he has had 18 interceptions. That is number 1 in the NFL.
Sam Madison is going to play face-to-face with anybody in this league. I think he's the best cover corner in football today. And this is a mismatch because he's on Ben Coates. He's got great closing speed, so he can play off the tight end a little bit.
Banks changes the play.
Last time this happened, he wound up getting sacked.
Here they come. He unloads down the sideline, underthrows, Surtain intercepted. Patrick Surtain with a convoy. Surtain with his second interception of the year on a ball that was badly underthrown or slipped out of his hand.
So often in a play, you see a guy make it, but boy, did Brian Walker help him out.
Yeah, look at this. Now, you see Patrick Surtain is number 23. This ball, you're absolutely right, is underthrown. Patrick Johnson is the guy that the ball was thrown to. But Surtain, I mean, this is just keeping total concentration on the football and making the play and then turning around and taking off with it.
But it's very poorly underthrown. But I want you to see number 45. Here comes Walker. He comes in. Look at the block. Now, they would have had the ball at the 5-yard line if Walker didn't hustle and try and help out with that block.
That's a brilliant effort on his part. Surtain with his second pick. So Miami avoids the disaster of the interception going one way, take it back the other. Smith behind Conrad. And Conrad has been a superb blocker tonight. Number 44 out of Syracuse has been the lead man on virtually every play. And Banks has his second interception of the season.
All right, let's look at number 44, Conrad. He comes up now. He is blocking on a safety, Kim Herring, number 20. But he gets an excellent block. But I'll tell you, when you watch the linebackers on both of these teams, they are just flying all over the field.
2nd and 8. Lamar Smith as they fake the end around, and Smith is drilled by Jamie Sharper.
Saragusa, Jamie Sharper. I mean, again, you're mentioning another linebacker, number 55, Saragusa, number 98. They're trying to fake a reverse and try to run up the middle. I don't know if you want to try to run up the middle on this team with Ray Lewis sitting there in the middle.
Well, I think that's what Lamar Smith does well. He really runs between the tackles well. And when you look at the offensive line, and look at how ugly those white and orange shoes are getting. We talk about Ruddy at center and Donnelly at one guard, Dixon at the other. They're doing a good job in the middle.
And Brent Smith in for Richmond Webb. Fiedler to the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Wants a screen. Thurman Thomas. Nice cutback. He's within a yard of the first down.
But he didn't make it. It's just hard for me to believe what I'm seeing. I'm talking about 3rd down and long, and Thurman Thomas, you know, is going to end up with the ball one way or the other, and there's nobody on him.
That's the 4th consecutive time that they have tried to get the ball to Thurman. Marvin Lewis, the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, he's trying to put pressure on Fiedler, but that offensive line and the back in the backfield isn't letting it happen.
I'd yell out, somebody cover 34.
And the Dolphins on 4th and 1 are not going to get cute with it. They're going to have Matt Turk try to pin Baltimore back with 2:17 on the clock. And that was touched by one of the Ravens after the Dolphins got a hand on it down at the 1, and now they're saying the ball ends up in the end zone. So it is a touchback. They'll have it at the 20. Jeff Ogden down trying to make the play on a 44-yard punt, and then it bounced off at Dwayne Starks.
If they just let Jeff Ogden throw this back, they'll be fine. Once he touches it, it doesn't matter. It can hit a Raven.
Well, look at Starks. He's there. No, it does not touch him.
But
He's not even close.
You see, he never really has control of it. Rodgers doesn't have control of it. It winds up in the end zone. Good call by the officials.
The crowd doesn't like it. Ogden made a heck of a play trying to keep it out.
One of the things that you have to keep in mind on a play like that, when Ogden hits the ball back into the field, Michael, if anybody from the Ravens picks it up and touches it there because the ball is down, they could run all the way down to the 10-yard line or 5-yard line, fumble the ball. They will get the ball back there where it was down.
Right, as long as it's touched by the kicking team.
Exactly. So that time Starks could have actually picked up the ball and run with it.
Baltimore with 2:07 to go, 1st and 10. On the ground, Jamal Lewis breaks 2 tackles, breaks another one. Lewis out of bounds. The rookie from Tennessee almost broke it all the way.
Welcome.
Nice play.
From Pro Player Stadium. That's Michael McCrary. You can't tell by his number. The 99 nearly obliterated. His team's offense on the field now from the 36 of the Dolphins. Thanks. Ben Coates to the 27-yard line, about a yard shy of a first down.
Another thing, talking to Banks yesterday was really interesting. We were talking about Marino, his retiring and all that stuff. And Banks says, you know, when I was in junior college, my coach said to me, look at the film on Marino. He said, I had that real long delivery. It took me too long to get the ball. He said, now I feel after looking at Marino back then that I have the quickest release in the National Football League. Think so?
Close. Taylor and Johnson, the wide receivers. Lewis, the rookie trying to get outside, turns the corner, drilled, but got down to the 18-yard line. He's 231 pounds, and he can run. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by the new GM card. What are you charging toward? By Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. And by Foster's, Australian for beer. South Beach, one of the great party destinations. And if you were watching our show this morning, they were talking about how Joe and Robin were out at South Beach last night.
A couple of really nice clubs down there.
I was there this afternoon.
Great place to be.
ESPN Classic, Marino deal. They had a pool party and all that stuff.
Jamal Lewis, the rookie out of Tennessee, their first-round draft choice, trying to get some more action. He only had 10 carries coming into this ballgame. He was hurt in training camp and set back.
Well, the play before that, you saw his ability to break tackles and turn his speed on. This one here, you saw him just be able to dip inside and use his speed to get outside.
First and 10 for the Ravens. Banks slips. That may have been a busted play, and he's brought down at the 20-yard line. Looked like Priest Holmes went one way, and Banks was expecting him to go the other.
Well, obviously, it was a pass play.
You'd think so.
Yeah, well, I think so.
That's the first thing you would.
Well, all the receivers went downfield, and Priest Holmes did go the wrong way. Banks was looking to fake to him, and he was never there.
Banks eyeing Badejo in the flat, and what a tremendous tackle by Greg Jeffries, the backup free safety. Great form on a big guy. Eyeing Badejo's 235.
The Ravens tried to go to a hurry-up style of offense to try and confuse the Dolphins. The Dolphins had mass substitutions. They wound up with Patrick Johnson on the left side of the field and nobody around him. Just so happens Tony Banks went to the right side.
You can see what Brian Billick had to say on his weekly NFL.com diary, only on NFL.com. And this guy is really into computers, has more than 8,000 plays stored on his computer.
What I liked about talking to him, though, Joe, you've spent a lot of time with Brian Billick, is the fact that the first thing that he says, I'm a teacher.
Well, that's what he wanted. That's what he really wants people to, think about. When you talk about Brian, you talk about really, I think he could be, the next Gibbs and Walsh. He has that kind of ability. Certainly there are some great ones. Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren. These are men that have done it, but Brian's right up there.
36 seconds to go in the half, 3rd and 12. 4-man rush. Banks with time. Throws short over the middle. That'll be about 5 yards shy of a first down and bring up a field goal situation for the Ravens. The clock continues to run.
They will call timeout with approximately 7 seconds to go. 5 to 7 seconds.
Oh, you saw his mouth say 5 seconds.
I said it before.
No, you said 7. Then you saw him say 5.
And that'll set up a field goal try for Matt Stover. He'll have to kick it off the dirt. One of the interesting things, listening to Brian Billick, he said when he was with Dennis Green as the offensive coordinator of Minnesota, Denny came in and said, I want to combine Joe Gibbs' offense and Bill Walsh's offense, 2 of the most successful systems in the NFL. He said, I want the best of both of them, and walked out of the room. Well, thank you so much. Somehow Brian Billick did it, and to Denny Green's credit, he said he never came back in and said, why are you doing that? Why did you do this?
For 10
Why
years.
didn't you do something else? He left him alone, let him do it. It's been brilliant.
You saw the results of it 2 years ago. The most prolific scoring machine in the history of football when he was the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. You take the vertical passing game and the power game of Gibbs, who in my mind is just a genius, and then you take Bill Walsh, in his mind's a genius, and Bill really is, and you take that precision passing game, you put the 2 together, you wind up with a lot of points.
Stover with a tough field goal try. He's hit 22 straight, the longest streak in the league. This is off the dirt. It's partially blocked. That one never got up.
No, he never got his left foot planted. What happened, they're in the mud. They're in the middle of the infield. And what Stover did is he planted his left foot, and as soon as he did, it slipped, and he never cleared the line of scrimmage.
That's the end of the first half. To score, Miami 6, the Ravens nothing. Let's join Chris Berman for the SportsCenter in-game, the Toyota halftime show.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Should be a great halftime. Who cares if it's raining? Dan Marino's number 13 retired. We'll go back live. And in honor of a man who arguably had the quickest release ever from the quarterback position, we thought tonight that we should bring you the fastest 3 minutes in television as the fastest
ball game. And this is what it looks like from our vantage point. Not much.
Run a reverse. Now run a reverse.
It's a lot better than it was.
Let's get down to the field. Our colleague Solomon Wilcott. Solomon?
Yeah, Mike, you know what? Right now I'm earning some major cool points from my daughter, Taryn. That's because I'm hanging out with Howie D of the Backstreet Boys. And Howie, you're used to working your musical mojo before a crowd like this, but tonight I understand you're here to honor Dan Marino.
Yes, I'm definitely very honored to be here tonight. Dan Marino is definitely a legend in the football history, and growing up watching him, had the pleasure of meeting him about 6 years ago here in Miami. And just been a big Dan Marino fan all my life.
Now, what is it about entertainers and athletes? You both seem to admire one another. What is it about that?
I think it's just like, a big respect factor out there for each other. We're both out there trying to entertain people and 2 different lines of entertainment. And, it's all about supporting each other.
Now, you're originally from Orlando. They have a statue of Dan Marino. They have a street named after him. How big is Dan Marino in Florida? He could basically be governor.
Yes, he could definitely run. And I think he'd probably get it after. He's like I say, I've grown up my whole life knowing Dan Marino. And I'm only 27. So he's been around for some good years.
How tough you think it is for Jay Fiedler trying to fill the shoes of Dan Marino, a legend for 17 years here in South Florida?
And it's some big shoes to fill, but I think he's doing a good job. And I like to see, Miami definitely go this year to the Super Bowl.
All right, Howie D of the Backstreet Boys, and Mike, is just another sign that Dan Marino is larger than life.
Points with your daughter, huh, Solomon? Well, that's important. We know what a big deal that is. Congratulations. What a celebration for Dan Marino as they retire number 13 forever here at Pro Players Stadium. Let's take a look at the first half stats. They're not going to look like much, especially if you're a Ravens fan. 31 passing yards, 57. Of course, they picked it up right at the end to just about tie it. Miami with a slight edge now of 90 yards. Not much for either, but under these conditions, not bad either.
Well, look at that third down conversion for Baltimore. That tells the story. They're 0 for 5 on third down situations, and that's the most important down.
And that's where I thought Shannon Sharp would be a big part of this offense. The Dolphins have done a good job keeping him out. If this game continues to stay as close as it is, and it boils down to a kick at the end, the shot that you're seeing right now is the grass half of the field. It's going to be very important who winds up with the ball trying to attempt something in the grass half.
You know, we're talking about Matt Sover at the end of the half. Now, what happens on this block, it's him. Watch his left foot. When he tries to plant, it just slides right here. It's gone. Once he does that, he can't get the ball up. You know, you would think on a field like this, what kickers do, instead of standing there, it's not that far a kick. Instead of taking those 3 steps, just plant and kick that short pop shot.
But wouldn't you change your normal rhythm that way? I mean, you were a kicker. Could you do that?
No, well, yeah.
Well, you could, but these guys
these
may
guys
have trouble with it.
No, they don't have to think a lot. Just kick it.
Baltimore will be going in that direction here in the third quarter as the Dolphins will get the football. Brock Marion is deep to return. Marion from the 10. Big return out across the 40. Feel like I'm at the Fog Bowl in Chicago. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by the United States Marine Corps. The change is forever. Miami, Florida, the rain has stopped as we got the remnants of the hurricane, which went up the west coast of the state.
The rain just started again.
I can't tell. I can barely see the field, let alone the rain. Lamar Smith. Rob Burnett, the first to hit him as he crosses the 40 for about 3 yards out to the 42-yard line.
And I thought that's where the Dolphins were most effective. Even though they haven't averaged a lot of yards per carry, they have been effective controlling that defensive line by running inside the tackle. When they try and get outside is when they start losing yards and have no gains.
Well, if you're going to run, I would run to the left. The only reason for that is you're going to get out of the mud and you're going to get into grass right away, and then you're going to get some footing.
Richmond Webb, the starting left tackle and the 7-time Pro Bowler, has not returned to the Dolphins lineup. Sprained ankle in the first half. Fiedler looks one way, throws the other complete, short of a first down by a couple of yards. Nice job by Fiedler this entire ball game. He's been under control the whole time. That was complete to Leslie Shepard to bring up a 3rd and short.
One of the things we talked about was the reason why Dave Wanstead chose Jay Fiedler was he comes out of a system in Jacksonville. Chan Gailey, Tom Coughlin, Bill Parcells, they're all a part of that and feel comfortable with it. The terminology seemed a bit easier. That's Damon Ewert, who did a terrific job filling in for Dan Marino last year, 5-1 record. Didn't get him to start though.
Tillman Thomas stays in the block. The pass complete, first down. Leslie Shepard with the nice catch, and then he is drilled at the 35-yard line. Rod Woodson got there late along with McAllister.
Chris McAllister had no idea where he was.
Leslie Shepard coming over from the Redskins, but look at the room he gets. McAllister, one of those guys, gets his hips turned the wrong way. Nice little skinny post. Good spiral under the conditions. That's a nice throw.
Well, it was great on time, too, because you saw he threw the ball just coming out of his break. Lamar Smith back in there, play action by Fiedler. Now he scrambles. Dumps it off. The catch made by Smith. Lamar Smith to the 7. Caught by Ray Lewis.
Hey. You know, I saw Rich Gannon in the Oakland game today against Denver do the same thing. Didn't get a first down, but this one does. Lamar Smith, you talk about heads up, both by the quarterback, Fiedler, and Lamar Smith. You see Lamar Smith, number 26, he's just saying to him, just throw it up in the air. I've got it. That is an outstanding play.
And Fiedler can scramble. It's an excellent all-around athlete recruited by Stanford as a track guy, a decathlete. Turned that down to play football. Smith, speed to the outside. Touchdown.
This was all Lamar.
What you see here is the ball is pitched so deep, Lamar Smith will start to his right. Now look at the flow of Baltimore. Take advantage. Baltimore wants to run and chase, but look at Jay Fiedler out front trying to block on Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is in pursuit. Watch that on the left side of your screen. Look who comes in to try and make a play. That's the quarterback, Jay Fiedler.
Against the #1 run defense in the National Football League. The point after is good by Olindo Mate. And the second rushing touchdown of the season for 7-year veteran Lamar Smith.
It's a lot of fun. It's not going to be a problem. Just relax.
And dress in some gas station somewhere.
Can you imagine leaving the house looking like that?
Yeah.
Not my house. 13-0. Mate to kick. Corey Harris on the return. Pinned in, dropped at the 22. Sunday Night Football next week at 8:30 Eastern, an NFC East Classic. Bruce Smith, Deion Sanders, and the new-look Washington Redskins head to New York to battle Tiki Barber and the Giants. Coverage begins at 7:30 with prime time. The Redskins, of course, play tomorrow night at home against the Dallas Cowboys. If they win that one, our game next week will be for first place in the NFC East, as the Giants are undefeated. Priest Holmes deep in the eye. He'll get the toss. Holmes, nice cut. Zach Thomas has him by the ankles when he reaches the 35, first down.
There's plenty of time for the Ravens to be able to continue to try and use a balanced attack. Remember last week, they were down a bunch to the Jacksonville Jaguars and managed to come back. They haven't put two good halves together. They certainly haven't seen one in the first half tonight, and Brian Billick would like to see his team take the lesson from last week and apply it tonight.
Tony Banks comes to the line. He's 8 out of 15 tonight for 61 yards and an interception. Last week he had 5 touchdown passes in the second half alone to lead the comeback.
You know what's amazing about these two defenses when you watch them, and I know the Miami Dolphins just went down and scored, but when you look, we talked about the quickness of the Miami Dolphins, and man, can they get to the ball.
I want to show you what's a key. See the safeties? The safeties are back here in run support. That means that Zach Thomas is going to have to flow all the time to try and be the run stopper. That's very critical. If the linebackers can control the run, then the wide receivers won't get a chance to get the ball.
Been the leading tackler ever since he arrived in Miami. Priest Holmes runs right into Zach Thomas, or check it, Jamal Lewis runs right into him and Kenny Mixon.
I remember what Brian Billick said last night as well. His offensive line said, Coach, we want to run the football. The way the Dolphins play their defense, it's very simple. As a matter of fact, they described it as vanilla. The offensive line is going to know where they are. It's just a question of going out and muscling them out. They have not been able to do that tonight.
It becomes mano on mano.
You may know where they are, but you haven't beaten them yet.
3 wide receivers set on 3rd and 4. Banks with time underneath Travis Taylor, the rookie. And he is pummeled. But he got the first down out to the 46, 47-yard line.
You know, the rain is coming down, and to think about going downfield, Joe, they've already tried that once with Banks, and that was intercepted.
I think this is the way they have to go. Utilize the speed horizontally instead of vertically. Quick out, quick back in, back out. Let him use his quickness to get something going.
Here's what happens when 6'8", 340 pounds gets a hold of a guy that's about almost 100 pounds less. Look at this. Jonathan Ogden on Jason Taylor. He doesn't move off the line of scrimmage.
Lewis cuts it outside. Lewis finally dragged down by Brian Walker. 17-yard run.
You know, we saw him run in the first half of the game, and Zach Thomas came up and tried to tackle him with his arms. This is what happens when you try to tackle this guy with your arms. He's going to break it.
Well, you know he reminds me of in his running style? Herschel Walker. See, he runs a little bit erect, but he's got those quick steps. The feet don't come a lot off the ground, and then he gets those shoulders pointed upfield. And Brian Walker's doing everything he can to hang on to him.
Lewis, first-round draft choice this year out of Tennessee. May have tripped over his own blocker and then was buried.
What happens is now we have entered that section of the field where the footing will be bad for everyone. In particular, where the ball is placed, the left side of the offensive line. They're the ones that are going to have to try and generate some power, and it's not going to be easy. This is muck. This is not mud. It's fallen into the category of muck. I think if you're going to run, you're going to have to run right.
Well, the problem is, Joe, the right side is the short side of the field.
Priest Holmes back in at tailback. Banks with time. Has this one complete to Shannon Sharp inside the 15. Oh, did he get a wicked block downfield? Patrick Johnson came over and just cleaned somebody out.
You know, Patrick Johnson is a wide receiver downfield, and they see Shannon Sharp coming across the middle. Look at Patrick Johnson. He said, I'm going to tell you what. You catch it. I may not be catching any balls tonight, but I'm going to block somebody. Watch this. Number 83. Here he comes. And on Brock Marriott and Sam Madison. He gets both of them.
A twofer. He got himself a twofer.
He's a track guy out of Oregon, they say, is just really learning to control his speed. He can certainly control his blocking. Whoa. And Brock Marion slow to get up on the sideline. And you can understand why. Well, when you don't see him coming, they can really hurt.
Oh. Boy, that Patrick Johnson, I mean, he got two guys.
And really bad things can happen to you too, Mike.
And he's only 180. I mean, he's not a big tight end or a lineman.
It doesn't matter. If he's coming with some speed, he's going to bowl you over.
First down, Jamal Lewis checks in as the running back. Thanks. Underneath. Complete down to about the 7 to Sharp, and Zach Thomas was right there.
You know, Zach Thomas is really getting tired of this. He wants to just defend against the run. He's getting sick and tired of chasing deep tight ends and running backs around. There's Shannon coming across the formation. Zach slips just so slightly, but then has to chase Shannon down and make the tackle. He wants to go up against a team that just tries to pound him.
2nd and 6, the best drive for the Ravens tonight, right when they needed it, down 13-0. Give it up the middle line, Badejo, the fullback, to the goal line. If they're inside the 1, it would be a first down.
They're inside the 1.
Only his 3rd carry of the year and a critical one at that time.
We got the up cam. You're talking about Zach Thomas wants him to run? All right, Joe. We're going to give it to you. Look at the block here on Zach Thomas. That is excellent. That's Jeff Mitchell, the center, who gets number 60, who gets down in on Zach, and they pick up the first down.
The goal of that offensive line is always to keep the blockers off the middle linebacker in particular. That time they couldn't do it.
I wouldn't do anything fancy. Just go straight up the middle.
And Banks wants a timeout on 1st and goal inside the 1. wants to get it right with 5:13 to go in the quarter. Come on the ground. In the first half, 26 plays for 88 yards. This drive has barely matched it.
I think if you're going to run, you're going to run left behind Jonathan Ogden, number 75.
Banks on the roll, sacked at the 11. Brian Walker, the strong safety.
He was trying to go to Ben Coates, and Trace Armstrong winds up going back in coverage.
I mean, this is really incredible. Watch Brian Walker. He does not take the fake. There's no place to move, and you're absolutely right. Ben Coates is on the outside, number 81, and he was covered by the defensive end, Trace Armstrong, and he had him covered in the end zone.
What a great play by Walker. He didn't buy the fake at all. His job was to get Banks.
Now they're taking their second timeout.
That's 2 timeouts in the last 3 plays for the Ravens.
John, you seen that? Oh, you're good. Yeah.
From just inside the 10, Miami's defense. They've given up only 13 points in 3 games. The Ravens down by 13. Banks lost his footing. Now he wants to run. Inside the 5 to the 4, covered by Marion.
You know what, Joe? You were talking about Brian Billick earlier, talking about looking at Miami's defense, and they're vanilla. You know exactly where they're going to be, but what he says they do not do. They do not make mistakes.
And you'll see they're back in coverage so complete, Banks has nowhere to go. Good decision by not trying to make him force a throw, and gets down, at least gets his team closer to the goal line.
Jamal Lewis comes in on 3rd and goal. He's number 31. He'll go out on a wing. Now in motion. Banks. Sacked by Taylor.
They ran Jamal Lewis in motion, and they brought him back to block on the backside. And that's the backside of Banks.
Look at the coverage. You can see he has nowhere to go up top. They're trying to bring Taylor down. Now you're down on the other side. Sam Madison's not going to let anything happen. There he is. Got to pull it down, and Jason Taylor wraps him up.
Stover again will have to kick off the mud. He had one blocked earlier. This time he puts it through.
See what he did? He took one step.
Matt Stover with a field goal. They've cut the lead to 10.
One of the things each of us treasures is the freedom of mobility. If you have a medical condition where that ability is restricted, you do have options. Foothills Pharmacies and Home Medical Equipment has mobility.
When it's not raining, it's gorgeous. Those bands come in. This is a guy, he heard the weather forecast, and he is ready for anything. Brock Marion. Cut down at the 20. 3:03 to go, 3rd quarter. Miami up 13-3.
As host of Monday Night Countdown, I have certain priorities, focusing on the big Monday night news from around the league, breaking down the key matchups for the game, and resisting the urge to manipulate, hypnotize, or influence the audience by use of subliminal imagery in order to peddle personal propaganda. Because at ESPN, our priority is you.
Monday Night Countdown at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN.
Coming up next, Sports Center, Linda Cohn and Dan Patrick will bring you up to date on the day in sports. Their top stories, the NFL Blitz, the Battle of the Unbeatens, our Sunday conversation with a high-flying Jet, and plays of the week. 3:03 to go. third quarter. Miami with the ball on its own 20, leading by 10. Lamar Smith will get about 3. Ray Lewis, of course, has had a topsy-turvy year, charged with double murder after a Super Bowl post-party incident. 2 men were stabbed to death. He eventually pled guilty for a misdemeanor for withholding information from police, and it became clear that he had no part in the men's death. But he was fined $250,000 by Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. He is appealing. That appeal will be heard next week. He is just grateful to be thinking about nothing but football. Fiedler dumps it to Smith. Not an easy catch under the conditions.
This screen somewhat amazes me. It's really almost an inline screen. When you throw screens, you try and get the back away from the line of scrimmage a little bit. This is one where he makes the fake to him. You'll see it. Makes the fake. Now watch the right part of your screen. That ball is right there, right in the middle of all that traffic. Fiedler manages to find him, and it's just like an extended handoff, letting him run up the middle.
J.J. Johnson checks in for the first time at running back for the Dolphins. He's number 32. Johnson to get the carry. And fights for extra yardage, picks up a couple.
Mike, Rod Woodson made it a point that after the situation with Ray Lewis was settled and he came back, and he said that we're just going to spend time together. I want to be around him. I want to help him. We were talking yesterday, and I said, well, what happened? What are you going to do when you go out? He said, we don't go out. So we go over to Ray's house, we shoot some pool, and we stay there as long as we need. Rod Woodson and Shannon Sharp have been great support systems, really mentors for Ray Lewis.
So is the entire organization. They backed him all the way.
Yeah, they did.
For Martin Odell on down. Smith back in. He has run very hard tonight. Only gets 2 on that carry. The Dolphins doing 2 things here. They're working on the clock, trying to keep the running game going, keep the ball away from the Ravens.
And one of the things we're talking about Ray Lewis, a $250,000 fine. Now, they're going to hear this Tuesday, but he's going to be on a conference call to talking to the commissioner. And, it is interesting. We haven't been able to. The commissioner was supposed to come down today. We're going to try to talk to him. He did not make the flight to Miami.
Because of the storm.
Yeah, because of the storm. But you'd like to find out why was it $250,000?
3rd and 6 for Miami. Time running out here in the third quarter. Fiedler to Thurman Thomas. First down. Mr. Clutch. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. The Dolphins trying to do their part to celebrate Dan Marino night. They lead it 13-3.
NFL Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday on ESPN2.
Ball game. And we have been joined by the legend himself. Dan Marino has come up to the booth. When you look at all the things you have done, this night is so special for you.
It's incredible, especially to have my family there and the kids and my mother and dad and everybody. And just the relationship I've had with this community over 17 years has been incredible. And just it's great for the fans and everybody.
When I saw you on the stage, you were a mess.
I was a mess.
You were a mess.
Well, I was a mess, and I got it together there at the end.
You should have put your hands underneath, the center. Get a center up there where you felt comfortable.
No.
You're really enjoying this retirement, aren't you?
It's okay. It's tough watching the game sometimes because you feel like you could still be out there and play, but you don't do it.
Dolphins have a 1st and 10 from their own 48. Play action by Fiedler. Caught at the sideline. That'll pick up 25 yards. Shannon Sharp for the 10. Jed Weaver. I saw 82 and thought about Sharp. Weaver makes only his 2nd catch of the season, and a huge one it was.
Everything that Jay Fiedler is doing is coming off the play action. Watch this throw. The rain has stopped. Nice toss. As Weaver starts to move up the field, Ray Lewis tries to make the play. Can't get to him, and he gets it on down to the 11-yard line. Looked like a Looked like the touch of a Dan Marino on that one, didn't it?
Thank you, Joe.
I mean, just stood in the pocket so perfectly and just laid that thing out.
It was a great throw.
Back to the ground. Smith reversing his field. Fiedler trying to throw him a block and did. And then Sharper cuts him down at the 8.
Now, I will say this. That was not a Dan Marino. It was an
block.
I
would never block. I wouldn't have done that.
All right, look at Jay Fiedler now. This is Kim Herring, who is out on the outside. And all Fiedler is doing is he's watching Lamar Smith. Watch this. He hands him the ball. Now he sees Lamar on the outside. No place to go. Watch who comes into the picture. Number 9. Kim Herring. He knocks him down. You're right, Dan. I've never seen you.
Were you ever tempted to throw a block?
Oh, yeah, I've thrown a few blocks.
That's the way.
So why are you giving me a hard time?
He's getting mad. He's getting mad.
It's his retirement party.
Giving me a hard time.
Just asking.
Fiedler. A lot of time. Smith in the flat. Touchdown.
Great play.
Jay Fiedler with the scramble and a touchdown that gives the Dolphins some breathing room.
The thing that impresses you about Jay Fiedler is he is totally in control. The play doesn't open up. He looks to see if he can run, and he says, you know, Lamar Smith looks like he's got a little bit better shot at getting in the end zone. This is from the ump cam. You see him scramble to the right. He didn't cross the line of scrimmage. You'll notice how he went parallel. Winds up dumping it off for the touchdown.
Fiedler has hit his last 8 and is now 11 out of 16. The extra point off that mud infield is no good. But Lamar Smith gets the 6, and the Dolphins are in control.
Guess who blocks this kick?
Gee, I don't know.
Take a number.
Is it a Raven?
No, it's a striped shirt. Watch this. Right in the official's face. He hit him right in the head. Now, here's the ump cam. Here comes the ball.
Oh, yeah.
How about that one?
That's ump cam. That is a cameraman selling out. You said you felt like that before your cup of coffee in the morning? Sometimes that pounding headache.
Mate to kick. Harris from the 11. Cut down at the 30. We forget so many things that you did because you did so many. And the ones, back in the distant past slip. People don't think of you as being as durable as you were. If it weren't for the 3 replacement games, you would still hold the record for quarterback durability.
Yeah, that's 145 and
yeah,
but we went on strike those years, and
so the record doesn't count.
But that's all right.
Is that something?
Something I was very proud of.
I was just saying, so many records you have. Is that one of the things that's
very
up there?
proud. You know what? Because if your team can count on you each and every week to line up and play a game, I mean that's special in the quarterback position because they need you out there every week.
Banks against the 4-man rush. Dumps it over the middle. That'll pick up about 6. Here are the numbers on Dan Marino and that remarkable durability. Started 60 straight, then the 3 replacement games, which breaks the record. I don't know why, but it does. And then all those other games after. That's just a remarkable record. Brett Favre still less than 40 now behind you, but 40's a long way to go.
Yeah, well, Brett's a very durable guy and a great quarterback.
Lewis diving forward to the 39-yard line.
Dan, after the Achilles deal, and then the last few years that you're playing, we'd come down and talk to you about a game, and I'd look at you in the locker room before, and you said if they make a pad that I can wear, I'm
wearing it for sure. It got like that at the end of my career. You need all the protection you can get.
Was there any part of your body that
actually I didn't feel too bad. Last year was a year where I really started to feel it, and when I had my neck injury, when my arm went weak, I couldn't throw. I lost the feeling in the arm. It was tough, and last year was the year where the injuries really built up on me.
You could have never been a backup, could you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Banks on 3rd and a yard, throws and gets the first down to keep the drive alive. It was an honor for us to be here tonight with you.
It was very special.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for
Good
being
luck.
here.
It was special for me from 1984 to now. I saw it in the beginning. Little did I know it would be what it was. But Dan, you're a credit to the profession. You're a credit to the guys that play this game. And as a former fellow quarterback, you set a barometer of excellence that we could all just stand and admire. And whenever we drive here, we'll see the statue of you too, so we can wave.
You can drive down the street too.
And you're
okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dan.
Flag is down on the play as the Ravens keep trying to get it going, and Ian Badejo all the way to the 30. Now we'll have to check out the penalty. The Ravens down by 16 points. They need points, and they need them in a hurry.
This is a personal foul face mask, and I would imagine they tacked this on at the end.
Personal foul. Face mask. 15 yards at the distance. First down.
You know, for all the time Dan Marino has been willing to give us over the years when we've come down here to do ball games, tonight, surrounded by his family, his former teammates, his friends, his old coaches, really wonderful of him to come up here and give us the time tonight.
He's such a treat. Now, it's funny, you watch him now doing television. It's he's just going to be a success there. And they came out with these commemorative tickets for everyone in the stadium.
Well, it's a night I'll never forget. I know that. Banks trying to get the Ravens back in it. Lewis slipped a little bit and then swallowed up by Bowens, the 320-pound defensive tackle.
You know, the one thing about Dan Marino that is really special when you see him, and I've known him for so long, Joe and Mike, is that, you know, you can talk about all the things that he did on the field, all the records that he either owns or is tied. But the things that he has done for this community in Miami is above and beyond.
Up there on the Ring of Honor. Banks has the Ravens down to the 15, wants to throw. To the end zone, overthrew Sharp. Had a half a step, couldn't hit him.
He had Sharp open.
You can see the look on Tony's face. That's where they want to work. Greg Jeffries, the safety, has him. He releases up inside. This is something that Tony has been working on with Brian Billick and Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator, trying to get enough air under the ball and be able to still have it turn over and land in the catchable for the tight end.
Brian Billick laid it on the line this season. He says, we'll go as far as how far Tony Banks takes us. Right now, he's trying to get him into the end zone and cut into that 16-point lead. Banks throws underneath, bobbled and dropped right in the hands of Lewis. Excuse me, it was the fullback, Ian Badejo, 30 instead of 31.
You know, Ian Badejo, if he catches this ball, there's a pretty good chance he's going to pick up the first down because, look at this, Banks hits him right in the hands, and he bobbles the ball, but he might have been able to pick up the first down. That was Jerry Wilson, number 24, covering it.
Stover will come on for a field goal, and off the grass, knocks it through. They don't get the touchdown, but they cut the lead to 13.
Nothing creates a romantic mood like the glow of firelight. Fireplace Extraordinaire wood-burning and gas fireplaces provide more than ambiance. Only Fireplace Extraordinaire heats like a furnace.
And that's the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center on a steamy Sunday night in South Florida. In between the raindrops we go. And it's 19-6. Miami with the lead and only 9:35 to go. Keep this in mind. The Ravens have already used 2 timeouts in this half. Squib kick, and that one is going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, they're going to get it at the 40.
Monday Night Countdown tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico and the gang review Sunday's top stories and preview the Monday night matchup. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football with one of the NFL's great rivalries. The Dallas Cowboys battle the Washington Redskins. The dirt part of this field has played a significant part in the game. Stover slipped on that kickoff. J.J. Johnson will come in. We've had 2 blocked field goals from the infield portion of the Marlins field. Fiedler has really played under control in this game tonight, and one of the reasons he got the job in the first place is you see his first and second half comparison. He's been perfect in the second half, 7 for 7, including a touchdown, is he was familiar with Chan Gailey's system, and Damon Heward wasn't.
I think he's doing an excellent job, but let me just say one thing to the defense. Number 34, Thurman Thomas, is in the game. Somebody would like to cover him.
Chan Gailey doesn't want to hear you tell him that.
The former Dolphin killer is in on another third down. This one 3rd and 10.
Delay a game.
One of the adjustments that Chan Gailey made.
5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
One of the adjustments that Chan Gailey made was against Minnesota last week. They blitzed so much they weren't able to get Thurman out in the pass routes. He said they made some adjustments with their blocking up front to be able to allow Thurman to get out in key situations, and he's done it all night tonight for Chan Gailey.
What they did last time is they were faking a blitz with number 35, Robert Bailey, which would hold Thurman Thomas into the backfield.
Look at the numbers. Thurman Thomas against the Dolphins when he was with Buffalo. Most of any player that had ever played against him. Direct snap, it appeared to Thomas, and he picks up about 11.
Yeah, well, if they didn't get the penalty, he'd have picked up the first down. I mean, it's 3rd down. They're going to get the ball to Thurman Thomas. There's no big secret here. Buffalo did it for years, and here's Miami. This is a direct snap to Thurman Thomas, and look at this run. He picks up 11 yards on the play.
Pretty good job by Fiedler to carry out the fake. Miami will be forced to punt the first time this half. Matt Turk to kick to Jermaine Lewis.
Oh, great kick. Boomed it.
And they can't quite down. It goes into the end zone. A 54-yard punt. Turk was almost perfect on that one. 6:41 to go. The Ravens need 2 touchdowns.
Blitz tackles the key games from Week 3. We'll have a Sunday conversation with a high-flying Jet and the latest on the Wild AL wildcard race. Sports Center, right after the game.
Coming up next, Sports Center, Linda Cohn and Dan Patrick will be along to bring you up to date on the NFL Blitz, the battle of the unbeatens. A high-flying Jet is our Sunday conversation, and we'll have the plays of the week for you. Linda and Dan standing by. Baltimore takes over at its own 20. Thanks. Blitz coming. Unloads and got the first down to Patrick Johnson.
They're going to be in a hurry-up mode because they need 2 touchdowns.
And they also have to hurry up and get out of this mud and muck and mire that they're slopping around in. They've got to try and get up in a place where they can use some of the speed that they have on the outside and work the middle of the football field with Shannon Sharp.
And Ben Coates has checked into the ballgame, so they'll go with 2 tight ends. Coates, one of the best ever over the middle. Sharp is the motion man. Banks with time, throws, and that one is caught by Johnson. Walker was right there. It's a gain of 9.
This was a super throw. Tony Banks had to fire this ball in, and he had a very small space to get it into, and he got it to Patrick Johnson.
He fires this thing. Patrick Johnson does a nice job of getting away from Surtain. Now Walker's closing, but he manages to get the ball out in a hurry.
Priest Holmes will have the first down, picks up 5 more near midfield. Clock running, 5:13 to go in the ball game.
I think Tony Banks has got to speed things up a little bit. He's standing around a little too much. They're going back in the huddle. You're down to 5 minutes. You're down by 13 points. You don't have time to go into a huddle and call a play. Time is of the essence.
And you only have 1 timeout left. The Ravens actually have more yards on the ground tonight than they do throwing it under the conditions.
They're taking
the Dolphins have thrown for 152.
You're right, Joe. Too much time.
And they go with a running play that will go nowhere because of Zach Thomas, who fired into the backfield and dropped Jamal Lewis.
See, Tony is sort of just walking around out there. Now is the time that you have to speed things up. Zach Thomas is the one that's speeding everything up by running and chasing. Watch number 54 in the middle. He just runs right by a blocker and just knocks him off his feet.
Zach Thomas out of Texas Tech made the Pro Bowl for the first time last year. The Ravens changing personnel all the time and sending in plays from the sideline. So how much can you speed it up?
This is an offense that looks like it has a 13-point lead instead of being behind by 13.
What a grab at the shoe top. That'll be another first down. Sharp went right down to the grass to drag that one up for a completion.
You know, in a time like this, you hate to say that was a bad pass, because if he leads Sharp's going to pick up another 10 yards, and maybe you have a chance to get out of bounds. Look at this ball. It's down on the ground. He has to go down to get it. He has his man beaten.
That's just how good he is. You see Chris Carter of the Minnesota Vikings make catches like that all the time. See Shannon go down and get it. Just appreciate how good he really is.
The starting tight end on the NFL All-Decade team. Banks underneath. That one is tipped. Wilson was the only one who had a shot at it. It was intended for Ian Badejo, but Zach Thomas was all over him.
Somehow, some way, I think on second down here, the Ravens have got to try and put one down the field deep. Hope for an interference call or maybe a great play. The wide receivers are going to have to make some kind of play for him. It's been all running backs and tight ends for him tonight. Travis Taylor would be the guy if you can get it to him.
Taylor is flanked to the near side. Picked up by Patrick Surtain. Banks throws underneath. Priest Holmes, nice job getting all the yardage he could and getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
I'll tell you what, this was a great play by Banks, because he had Rich Owens, number 96, right in his face, and how he got the ball off around him. Watch this. You want to see a great throw. Look at here. Now look at 96. That's Rich Owens. Look at Banks. Look at this throw he makes over top of him and completes the ball to Priest Holmes.
3:04 to go in the game. The Ravens need 2 touchdowns. Down by 13. Banks throws low and incomplete. That was intended for Sharp. He was double covered. And that's a good idea defensively.
If you're going to double somebody in this situation, you sort of have an idea where the Ravens want to go. Number 82 would be the one. He plants, turns. Zach Thomas comes from one side. Wilson's on the outside. If the ball's a little bit higher, it should be a completion. Actually, Shannon can make catches like that, too.
I think you've got to take 3 shots at the end zone, because you don't have time. You're at 2:59 and 1 timeout. You've got to get it in now.
Banks goes out in the flat. Coates makes the catch, forced out of bounds at the 18.
And the Dolphins will give you,
I will say this,
2 more of these.
One of the things that Brian wanted Tony to work on was hitting the underneath coverage. If it's there, you've got to take it. The disciplines have worked out, but there comes a point in the game where the coach has got to give you a shot at trying to get the ball, as you mentioned, Paul, into the end zone.
The wide receivers have made only 2 catches for the Ravens the entire night. Ian Badejo, the single setback. Banks to run. Jason Taylor got him from behind. He'll be shy of a first down.
Boy, does that show you some speed? Jason Taylor's been in this game most of the night. He's a defensive end, and he runs down the quarterback. Look at Jason Taylor. He really doesn't look like he's breathing hard. He's smiling. You know, when you make a play like that, you feel a lot better.
A very athletic quarterback as well.
He really is. He went down on the ground at 2:44. Right now, there's 2:20 left.
Fourth down. 2 yards to go. Banks, short set, incomplete. The pass intended for Taylor, it was behind him. And the Dolphin defense, number 1 in the league against scoring, has held. The Ravens 2-0 for the first time in their history. 3-0 looks impossible right now. 2:07 to go in Miami. Dolphins by 13. .207 to go in the ball game, and there is a painting of Marino, and they started working on this before the game.
He's got 2 minutes and 7 seconds to complete it.
You don't have the 2-minute warning to help him out.
J.J. Johnson. And they go with Fiedler on the fake, and Fiedler does a great job, stays in bounds, gets to the 25, and we have reached the 2-minute warning at 1:57. Back in a moment. All Miami wants to do right now is work on the clock. J.J. Johnson. Flag is down. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by United, by American Century with over 40 years of investment management experience, and by Rolaids. ROLAIDS. Spells relief. There's a motion penalty against Miami. It has been declined.
But it does stop the clock.
Yeah, they put a Rondé Gadsden in motion, and he goes in motion towards the line of scrimmage.
Basically what it is for the Ravens is a free timeout. They still have one left. But one isn't enough. Johnson lowers his head, piles into Siragusa.
You really have to, I think you really have to stop and appreciate the job Changalia has done tonight. His 3 top receivers are out. They're developing a passing game. He's trying to put in a new system. He's got a quarterback who's sort of familiar with it. And like he described it, we're still working on the basics. There's nothing fancy. He likes 4 wides, he likes 5 wides, but he doesn't have the people to do it. O.J. McDuffie probably due back after their bye in about 3 weeks. Lamar Thomas gone for the year with a hip.
Tony Martin is hurt tonight.
You know, Chan said something that I thought really described the Miami Dolphins to a T. He said everyone has something to prove on this football team. Coaches and players. Coach Wannstedt takes over. You got young guys playing now. You got a new quarterback.
I just got to sit and think about yesterday talking to the Baltimore Ravens players, and all of them, the ones we talked to, including the coach. The Miami Dolphins play a vanilla defense. You know where they are. You know where they're going to be, and they don't make any mistakes. They play a vanilla offense. You know what they're going to do. They're going to line up. They're going to run the play. And they did it.
And some people might think of that as an insult, but it's not. It's a compliment. It's saying, you know where we're going to be every play. There's another marker down. You know where we're going to be every play. You got to come out and hit us in the mouth and beat us.
You got to love what they have done. And
offside defense.
That's automatic.
Defensive end, 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty, first down.
It's a 3rd and 3, so it's a first down. Sam Adams was offside. Frustrating night for Brian Billick. His club came in 2-0. And they saw the offense come alive at the end of the game last week against Jacksonville. He does have Cincinnati and Cleveland coming up on his schedule. So a real shot at going 4-1. Although after you look at the Browns, they're 2-0. You know, break up the Browns. 133 and counting. It's all over but the shouting here, and the Dolphins will join a rather exclusive club. They have allowed 1 touchdown through 3 games. The 90 Raiders did it. The 80 Eagles did it. They went to the Super Bowl. The 62 Packers did it. They won the NFL championship. And the 19 points allowed by the Dolphins this year, the fewest by any NFL team through 3 games since the 80 Eagles gave up only 16 points.
With that vanilla defense.
And again,
yeah, there's a ton of vanilla over there.
Well, we talked about Chan Gailey on offense. How about Jim Bates, the jobs he's done as the new defensive coordinator?
Very emotional coach who came over from Dallas for the chance to be a coordinator. He had been the linebacker coach, then the defensive line coach. And Dave Wanstead said we needed to have a good performance, especially early, to keep the crowd in it, so they didn't chant one more year for Dan Marino. He got his wish. His team and the fans stayed focused on this game. And the halftime celebration was relegated to halftime. Miami wins a big one at home. They'll go to 2-1, and the Ravens of Brian Billick will fall to 2-1. Our final score, Miami 19, Baltimore 6. SportsCenter's next. All the news, scores, and highlights for Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcots, and our entire ESPN crew. This is Mike Patrick. Good night from Miami. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. We have witnessed the final chapter in the football life of a truly special player. For 17 seasons, Dan Marino meant everything to Miami. Tonight, his fans, friends, and family celebrated his brilliance. It's a moment number 13 will long remember for a career we will never forget.
ESPN, thank you for watching this presentation